Hello and welcome to the Kick Can Generations podcast with your Auntie Robin. Actually, this is a fond farewell to the Kick Can Generations podcast with Auntie Robin. I'm going to let that one go. That was actually made in a different time period. And honestly, I can't even recognize that person who did that podcast, but it still has some good information on it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to leave some of those episodes up, and you can definitely check them out if you want to know how to deprogram yourself, question your beliefs a little bit, discover about ancestral trauma. Feel free and check that shit out. Okay? It's up there. It's waiting for you. Feel free to do it. Because this is basically what I went through in order to get to where I'm at now, which is a healed ass. My ass is healed. What we're going to do is we're going to convert this podcast into something else. It's going to be a different kind of podcast. Let me just get out my Jack Black theme music app and play. It's self-loving with Auntie Robin. One of the reasons why I call myself Auntie Robin is because of my great aunt. She was an amazing woman. I mean, she was the only person that I ever knew that actually stood up for herself, gave zero shits, and I do mean zero shits, what you thought about her. And she was incredible. My mom absolutely hated her. I absolutely loved her. Because she is one person that I never met anybody who had such moxie. I mean, she had moxie. She was just delightful. She was not afraid to stand up to people. She was not afraid of just taking it and just going balls to the wall and enjoying every single minute of it and just had fun and joy of life. And it was really funny because one time my parents decided to drop me off at her house and she was going to watch me. And she had a lake house. So it was really nice because we got to just sit on the dock. She basically sunbathed the entire time. And I was able to just jump in the water whenever I wanted to and go for a swim, or I could go fishing off the dock. And it was amazing. And one time she's just like, honey, go make me a martini. And I'm just sitting here going like, Auntie, I don't know how to make a martini. I'm 8. And she's just like, oh, honey, you need to have life skills. You need to have life skills. That's all there is to it. That's it. Your auntie is going to teach you how to make a martini. Come on, let's go. So she's teaching me how to make a gin martini. And she even lets me try it. And I didn't realize what gin was, and I didn't understand the herbaceousness of it, shall we say. And I'm just kind of like, ugh. And it burned, and I didn't understand it. And she's just sitting here going like, that's okay, you'll understand it when you're older. And I'm like, okay. So I was basically her bar back for the summer, and it was just so much fun. And she just let me be me. So, and it was just a great time. And she's a wonderful lady. And I hope that I can honor her with having at least just a little bit of moxie and can show you guys that side and what that is like. Because we need a little more moxie. Because we can fight this shit. That's all I'm saying. We can fight this shit. Something that I've noticed with the current administration, and it's not just the person in charge, it is every single person underneath. There is a serious lack of self-love within all of these people. And if you think about it, each and every single one of them has to have external validation in order to get the love that they feel. It's kind of sad. But think about it. Every single person needs external validation. If you truly love yourself, you don't need validation from other people. You trust yourself enough to know that what is right, what is wrong, because you have an internal compass within yourself. Because remember, If I have one finger, well, actually 2 fingers pointing at you, there are 3 fingers pointing right back at me. So I may be pointing at you, but I'm also pointing at myself as well. Because I've had to come across these things and have tried to figure out how to heal those things within myself. And you want to know something? By loving yourself fiercely and without question, I have been able to be unfuckable. Because you can't fuck with somebody who knows their worth, who knows their value. Trump doesn't know his value. He's still trying to prove to his dad that he's worthy of all this money. But how many times has he lost this money? How many loan negotiations has he had to do? That's about the only thing he can really do, is negotiate a loan. That's it. And when he does that, he's even lying about it. It's kind of sad. It's kind of depressing. But that's also his life. And that's his situation. That's his circumstances. And he has to deal with that. I can't deal with that for him. This entire fucking country can't deal with that for him. He has to deal with that within himself. Is he going to? No. At the age he is? No. He's not. He's 76. Or, I don't remember how old he is. Nor do I care. But this is part of the problem. We don't love ourselves. And we need to start loving ourselves just a little bit more. It helps. Squirrel! I kind of felt like the older generations have really done us a disservice over the years. And it's my parents, which would be boomers. They haven't taught us well. They haven't served us well. They're at the end of their lives, to be honest with you, and they're in power. But we're the ones next to be in power, my little ones. I really want you to think about what it is that you want in your life. What is it that you want within your government? What is it that you want to feel? Because life is supposed to be about experiences, and it hasn't been that since I was a kid. Luckily, I have a unique perspective growing up in the 70s. So this is going to be a little segment that we call It's Story Time with your Auntie Robin. Story time. So welcome to Story Time with Auntie Robin. So the 70s was definitely a different time era. Luckily, I got to grow up as a kid during this era. From basically childbirth to 8 is when I was participating in the 70s. Now, a lot of times during the 70s, kids were supposed to be seen, not heard. I did a lot of observing of the adults, my parents, their friends. So basically the boomer generation, when they were my age now or younger, they definitely had a different way of life. And I think that what we're doing now, the younger generations, and I got to give you guys props. Serious props. Millennials, for those who had Gen X parents and boomer grandparents, my deepest apologies. We did you wrong. Because you have to think about parenting. We have a tendency to overcorrect the things that we think our parents did wrong. Think about that. So most boomer parents basically just let us run free range during the 70s. And they were just like, come back home when the lights come on. That was pretty much the family motto, I think, across the board for most Gen Xers, with a few exceptions. But it was just a really weird time period. You had morals, you had love and compassion for your neighbors. You actually had communities back then, which is something that we really don't have now. And I believe that that is by design and has become more of a design as time has gone on. And it's something that we now have to back up and fix. Sorry. A lot of the stuff we have to back up and fix and make a little stronger because there's definitely some holes here. The 70s was a lot more heart-led, I would say, than like the 80s. And so I kind of vaguely remember uh, some of the things that happened during the 70s and how interesting it was. Because I remember my parents would actually buy their groceries on credit near the end of the month. Now, my dad was a high school art teacher. My mom, as all of you would say, a good little housewife. She stayed home with the children. We got paid at the beginning of the month. And then by the end of the month, we would end up having to scrape by to get like groceries and everything like that. So what ended up happening is the local grocery store that we had would actually write in a notebook, they would write your name, how much in groceries you took, if you were able to pay any of it today, and then the date that you were going to pay it back. They had this list, and that was their credit list. And my mom would literally just be like, I only have like $25. It's just like, can I put the other 5 on credit? And they're just like, when are you going to get paid? And it's like the first of the month. Will you be in on the first of the month? Absolutely. So they would write it all down. And then my mom on the first of the month would come in with the $5. It was nuts. But it wasn't just that. Like the local gas station would do that for us too. And other people as well, not just my family. Other families within the community. They would seriously do this for us. If you were a little short or something like that, you paid what you could, and then you paid the rest back when you can. And the thing is that you paid it because they were doing you a solid, so you have to do them a solid. And it worked out. But then the 80s came around, and Reagan took office, and everything started shifting. All of a sudden, welfare was a problem. Like the moms on welfare were an issue. Actually, just families on welfare were an issue. They were feeding off the system. And this is when corporations, as well as religion, started their rise. Now, TV evangelicals were really starting to take off in the 80s. And I swear to God, Reagan had them over. And I swear that one of the reasons why we are at where we're at today is because they prayed for the soul of this nation to be saved. I'm not joking. I really honestly think that that is how they phrased it. And I think that they thought that they were the ones who was going to save this, but I don't think that's the way it's going to work. Just a little heads up. I grew up in religion. I grew up in a Baptist church. My family took me because they said it was important to know what people are very passionate about. And one of those things is religion. And you need to know people's different religions in order to see where they are passionate about and what their morals and standards are. Now, moral and standards now, I don't think really exist. And the reason why I don't think that they exist is because a lot of us don't love ourselves enough in this time period, because we have literally had corporations break us down in order to sell us more stuff. So they make us feel like shit in order to fill the void of the emptiness that we feel within ourselves that they created. We now can fill it with their shit. So that brand new car, that certain look you want to look, it's just like, it is just to fill that empty void within yourself. But if you actually love yourself, you don't question that. You don't question your value. You don't question your beliefs. You actually have standards, and you expect people to kind of raise up to those standards. And that, I think, is something that we are severely lacking. Hot take. But let's get back to Reagan. Now, the evangelicals were praying for salvation of our great country. From there, what has ended up happening is that they have become into power. They have approached everything in the way of hatred and not loving your brother. So I kind of question your religion, because every religion says that you're supposed to go out and be a prophet for God. Now, when I think of a prophet for God, your actions and your words match. They speak together. So I am not out of alignment with God's words. My actions and his words match energy. I don't know of too many Christians right now who actually have that. I haven't seen it in a really long time, since the 70s, honestly. There's been a few people kind of scattered here and there, but it's very rare to actually see somebody truly, authentically embracing that. Think about it. When was the last time you met somebody like that? It's been a while. It's been too damn long. Tell me I'm wrong. So, from the TV evangelicals and the religious fervor of the 80s, we have now moved into the 90s. Okay? So, the 90s were even more so superficial than the 80s were. It was all about heroin chic, grunge. Everything was just really dirty in the 90s for some odd reason. And I never fully understood, like, it just didn't make any sense to me. The 90s were kind of, yeah, fun and fashion, great music, but just kind of shite in everything else. At this point, Gen X is just getting into school, getting out of college, and trying to start their careers. At this point, what has ended up happening is that the student loans that they had actually started becoming predatory loans while we were in school. Thanks, guys. Appreciated that. And also, thank you, Biden, for fixing some of that. And fuck the current administration for doubling down on corruption. Thanks. Also, in the 90s, there was Woodstock. The revival of Woodstock, let's just say. Now, this is just after Gen X is getting out of college, and we literally burnt that shit to the ground. That was not a joke. We literally burnt that shit to the ground. Thanks, Limp Bizkit. My generation. Basically, we burnt that motherfucker to the ground because we realized at that point that we had been lied to our entire lives. That, if you work hard, if you do well, you're going to get that job, you're going to get that family, you're going to get that house, you're going to get that car. You're going to have a life and it's going to be glorious. It's just going to be so amazing. And you want to know something? There were no jobs when we got out of college. We struggled to find jobs. They kept saying that we're being lazy. Squirrel. I'm just trying to tell you, this shit has been going on since I graduated from high school and college. It has not improved. In fact, it has gotten 10 times worse. That is the only thing that has happened. Before the 90s, you could get away with one job, just one job. But by the time the 90s came around, you needed two jobs in order to make a living. Now, I think we're up to like 3 or 4. How are you supposed to have a life? Life isn't supposed to be about work. Life, let me give you a little hint here, is actually supposed to be about lived experiences you decide that you want to take part in. That isn't work. I want to take part in art. I want to take part in music. I want to take part in experiencing things. The taste of food, how you grow the food. But this isn't what we get. Instead, we have all this processed food that isn't good for you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Even if I try and do whole foods, is it a genetically modified? Because if so, if it's genetically modified, my body may not be able to break it down. As much as I love, okay, the fact that they were trying to solve world hunger, and that was the original premise of this. It was originally to solve world hunger in the African nations, essentially, is what we were told when we were growing up as kids, that why they needed to modify grains is because if we modified the grains and made it more resilient, then it would be able to grow in many different environments. And we wouldn't have any of these droughts or famines or anything like that. So this would kind of help reduce that. Okay, but now here we are 30, 40 years later, and we have an increase in gluten allergies. Did you ever think that maybe it's the grains that we're using? The stuff that we use to make pasta? It's wheat, modified wheat, genetically modified. But the crazy thing is that when they started doing this in the 80s, it ended up losing a lot of farms because of it. Because the companies like Monsanto, squirrel. But I have mad respect for Gen Z because you have managed to do something that we tried but didn't do very well. But you are managing to piss off corporate America. Chef's kiss to you. It's beautiful. I have absolutely loved every single moment of watching them bitch about you guys, and it has been fantastic. You guys stay strong on this, please. It needs to change. It has got to change. It was shit when I was young, okay? And that has been 30 years, okay? Yeah, well, 33 years. So I'm 53. Yeah, 33. Yeah, that's close enough math. Anyway, they just needed to figure shit out. It isn't supposed to be this difficult. Life really is supposed to be simple. Do you want to know what it is? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Come here. Come here. We are meant to live life and have experiences, not work experiences, experiences. That is not just work. It is not just play. It is experiences. We have not really been allowed to do that. And if you think about it, like our school systems are really just supposed to help us decide as kids what we like. I mean, that's it. It's just, am I good at math? Am I good at science? Am I good at baking? Am I good at auto mechanics? Am I good at welding? Am I good at woodwork? Do I like building more? Do I like analytical stuff more? Do I like thinking with my brain? Do I like leading with my heart? What do I like to do? That's all that school's supposed to be. It's supposed to discover your inner abilities of what you're here to do for the planet. I mean, each one of us is part of a community, and each one of us has a gift. Each one of us has a talent, and you're supposed to discover that talent in school to figure out what it is that you can bring uniquely to the world that is just from you. And you want to know something? Sometimes it's really small shit. It is. Like being a plumber. And all of a sudden, something bursts and you have to help out this person, and you do, and you want to know something, it makes a difference in their lives. It doesn't have to be huge. There's not like a huge global impact to everything that we do. I just have a little side note here for Gen Z during story time here. I am so freaking proud of you guys. I really gotta say this. You guys do not get enough credit. You have fucked with corporate America, and God bless. It has been delicious and beautiful to watch. And I am cheering you guys on from the distance, okay? Because I want you to keep doing this, because the more you do this, the more corporate America realizes that they need to change. And it's time. We need change across the board. I mean, everything it hasn't worked in a long time because our belief system has changed. And you can't work on an old operating system. We're operating on Microsoft Vista. Okay, guys? Yeah, that's what we're working on. I think we need to upgrade a huge motherfucking global upgrade. So let's work on that instead of the bullshit. They're destroying everything. So I'm going to quote Mel on this. Let them. I don't like the way that they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. It is cruel. It is hateful. It is bullshit what they are doing and how they are choosing to do it. But the thing is that all systems kind of have to come down, and we get to rebuild it the way the people want to rebuild it. Think about that. That's a different way of thinking about all this. Yes, they are completely destroying everything. But my lovelets, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to help you rebuild. Gen X doesn't want to be in power. Gen X has never wanted to be in power. Gen X was just trying to survive, okay? That's all that Gen X was trying to do. And those of Gen X who want to be in power, please step aside. Be there as support. Let the younger generations, let the millennials, let the Gen Z, let the Gen Alpha determine how we are going to do this new country that we're going to do. Because, well, the country is basically being destroyed from the inside out. And that's okay. It really is. It's going to be hell. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be, the most shocking thing is that nobody is standing up to the power. No one is speaking truth to power. And the people who have spoken truth have been really great. So I want to congratulate Matt and Trey for good job, guys. $1 billion for 50 fucking episodes. And you knocked that first episode out of the fucking park. I mean, you want to talk about speaking truth to power. That was hilarious. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Same way with Stephen Colbert. Please, my brother, keep up the fight. Until they kick you off in 10 months, keep going, my man. Keep going. That's all I can do is encourage the rebellion. I'm just a little person, honestly. I have no power. I have no influence. Maybe a little, but I'm just starting. Yeah, I'm just starting. Let me repeat that again. I'm just starting to be the inconvenient woman. Yeah, you heard it. Heritage Foundation. Yeah, I'm coming for you. Love you. Also in the 90s, we also had a rise of girl power. Okay? The Spice Girls, do I need to mention anything more than those lovely ladies? Ugh, who doesn't love the Spice Girls? Honestly. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was so much fun. I mean, the women in music during that time period was magnificent. It was magnificent. Loved it. And loved that girls were actually being encouraged to find their power, to find themselves. I mean, we've never had that before. In the entirety of lifetimes, I've never heard of any time in which girls were actually raised to a higher level. And it was amazing and it was fun. But the thing is that during that time period, we accidentally left men behind. We left the boys behind. And we didn't question how they were doing, oddly enough. And I think that that has kind of raised ourselves to the male loneliness epidemic. I'm using air quotes because, guys, you gotta evolve. Women have been evolving for centuries. We have been oppressed since the dawn of time. But the thing is that we need to change our attitudes about men and women because it no longer works. It's an old idea that no longer works. And I think we need to realize that. But the great thing is that we can change that. Because that's a belief. A belief can be changed. Just like that. If you want it to. But you have to apply it. You have to follow it. And your actions and words need to match up. Can you do that? Can you do that, guys? Try it. Because I am going to have a section of this podcast is going to be challenging your beliefs, in which I'm going to totally ask you guys to challenge what you believe. Because let's face it, dating sucks. It has been horrible. It has been terrible. And if I know right here and now, after meeting you for like 5 minutes, that our vibe is not vibing, why can't I just leave? Why do I have to be nice? Why do I have to sit here and stay and endure a however long date? Get rid of each other. If you know instantaneously, just say, look, this isn't working for me. I don't think that we are a right fit. I wish you well in your life, but I think I'm going to go. Have fun. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you later. Why can't we do that? Wouldn't that solve a lot of problems? I mean, you're not playing any games with this person. You're being honest. It's not that you hate them. It's just that you don't connect. And not everybody in this whole entire world are your people. That's a key thing right there. There's millions of people in this world. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody has to like you. Not everybody on this planet has to like you. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that within yourself. Can you do that? That's something that you should strive for. Because honestly, it is not personal. It should never be personal that somebody doesn't like you. It's okay. It's all right. They're not your people. But when you're not acting as yourself out in public, who you genuinely, truly, authentically are, you will never find the right people. Never. You have to show up as yourself on dates, when you meet people, for job interviews. Otherwise, you're lying to them. You're lying who you are. So you're not getting a genuine connection with people because you are not generally connected to yourself. And you are externalizing that and showing that to the world, and nobody is seeing the authentic you. Think about that. Something I forgot to say is that at the end of each episode, I'm going to put up a pop culture list of all the music, art, theater, films, and stuff that I have recommended. Check them out. You might like it. You might learn something. You might hate it. It's okay. All right, my lovelets. This is your Auntie Robin, signing off.